the author of the book Generations of Good Food and One Caregiver's Journey. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Eleanor Gaccetta. A round of applause.
Thanks, Todd. There's an old saying that your life can change in the blink of an eye. And that's what happened to me. My mother and I were at my brother's for dinner. She bent over to kiss one of her great-grandsons. She stood up, she turned, she fell, and she broke her hip. She had surgery the next morning, and she spent the next 6 weeks in rehab, regaining her strength and learning how to navigate on a walker. I spent the next 6 weeks getting my home ready for her to return and ceasing nearly a 40-year career. 18 months from October of 2007 to May of 2017, I was her sole full-time caregiver in my home. It was an interesting time, believe me when I tell you that. About 18 months after my mother's accident, she had a stroke. I began journaling as a way to get the stress at bay. And as my caregiving routine became more and more routine, I continued to journal. And at some point I thought, you know what, maybe my experiences could help someone else who is either embarking on a caregiving journey or who is struggling in their caregiving journey. So I went back and I added some family history. I added some tips for navigating government systems. I told the story of my late father's illness, how my eldest brother had died, and how at the same time I was caring for my mother, I was also sharing in the care for her younger sister. One morning, as my brother came to help fix a leg on my mother's walker, and they had coffee at the breakfast bar, and as he was leaving, he said to me, "Man, you ought to write a book." And One Caregiver's Journey was born. As Dodge just said, One Caregiver's Journey it was journaled. It was written over a period of 9.5 years. It is a snapshot into the realities of the changes and the challenges of being a caregiver. When people ask me what the most difficult thing about my 9.5 years was, I don't tell them that it was hearing my name hundreds of times a day. I don't tell them it was when I was mopping floors or giving her a shower or doing laundry at 1 or 2 in the morning. Or when I was racing through the grocery store at 5 a.m. Or when I would find her on the floor and I had to call 911 for a lift assist. As my mother's age-related dementia worsened, for the last 6 months of her life, all of her dead relatives visit us at least once a month. She would talk and she would ask questions, and she would want to know why they didn't come to see her, and she would want to know when we were going to go see Uncle Joey driving that tractor in that beautiful field that she saw him in, and she'd want to know this and she'd want to know that. Now eventually she started to think I was her younger sister. "Jeanette, where are you? What are you doing, Jeanette? Jeanette, come on in here. I got something to say to you." It was just really, it was difficult. It was more than difficult. But as we began to notice very much that she was becoming quite weak. She needed more care. It was difficult for her to ambulate. She needed more assistance. We'd put her to bed in the afternoon, and then the dead relatives would all seem to go away. She'd wake up and be happy to see me, and we would continue our routine. In April of 2017, I signed the papers to put my mother in home hospice. On Mother's Day, after everybody had gone home and all the family had left, she became very, very ill. I put her to bed, and she died in her bed 2 weeks later at the age of 102. Excuse me, about 6 months after my mother died, I was cleaning out a pantry on a cold Colorado winter day, and I came across all of her cookbooks. And so I hauled them all to the dining room table, and as I went through them, I began to handwrite out recipes, her favorite recipes. I put them in a binder. I had 20 copies printed for her granddaughters, her great-granddaughters, and some of her special nieces. I began to collaborate in 2019 with Reader's Magnet to promote and market my caregiving book. It was published by another entity. In the midst of the pandemic in 2020, Reader's Magnet called and asked if I had another book I could publish. But they asked me to tie my caregiving book to my cookbook. So for the many months that followed, as I entered recipes into my computer, I began to remember the stories and the people that certain recipes came, and I began to write about what I remembered about, well, this dish was one from my sister-in-law, and this dish was one from my aunt, and we used to eat this at 4th of July. And one caregiver's journey started to tie in with its sister book, Generations of Good Food. And Generations of Good Food, as Dodge said, is a compilation of 200 recipes of my mother's Italian family of 6 generations. It's a happy book. And as you read the recipes, look at the pictures, you'll be happy. You'll want to go into your kitchen and you'll want to cook. And the recipes are for a novice cook as well as a trained chef. There's some pretty difficult recipes in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Eleanor Gaccetta. Thank you so much. Such a